Feel that for a moment. Before you rationalize it, before you name it anxiety or restlessness or the ghost of a conversation you wish had gone differently, feel the heat that has been gathering just behind your sternum, a low, persistent warmth that has nothing to do with the temperature of the room. It is a warmth that has been waking you in the hour before dawn, that has made you pause mid-sentence, suddenly aware of a current running just beneath the surface of your own skin. This is not indigestion. This is not stress. This is a frequency. It is the resonance of a key turning in a lock deep within you. A lock you had perhaps forgotten was even there. For some of you, the feeling is not warmth, but a weight, a sudden, inexplicable density in the hips and lower back, as if you are carrying something ancient. For others, it is a sound, a high, thin note at the very edge of your hearing, the sound of a distant bell ringing underwater. Do not dismiss this. This sensation, in whatever form it has chosen to arrive in your body, is the first evidence. It is the physical proof that something promised has come to pass. The celestial bodies do not move without consequence in the body of the one who is listening. And you have been listening, haven't you? In the quiet moments, in the space between breaths, a voice has been whispering, "This is not it." A part of you has known a shift was coming, not because you read it, but because you felt the pressure changing in your own blood, in your own bones. Within the next 48 hours, a gate that has been sealed for decades reaches its most permeable point. Venus, the great mirror of our value, our beauty, the very architecture of our magnetic heart, has slowed her steps. She has traveled to the most tender and sacred place in the cosmic wheel. She has come to the threshold of Chiron. Chiron, the wounded healer. The immortal centaur who carried a wound that could never be healed, and in his search for a cure for his own pain, became the greatest teacher of medicine the world had ever known. His wound was not his shame. It became his oracle. His pain was not his damnation. It became his gift. And now, Venus, the planet that governs what you love, who you love, how you love, and why you believe you are worthy of love at all, is standing before this wound. She is placing her hand, the softest hand in the heavens, directly upon the source of the oldest ache you carry. This is not an attack. Let me be clear. This is a consecration. This is the moment the poison is examined to see if it has finally, after all these years, become the medicine. The last time this alignment occurred with this particular grace and this particular potency, the maps of the world were different. You were not in this body. The promise of this transit is not something you can afford to misunderstand. Not now. Not with the heat you feel blooming in your chest. I am going to walk you through what is happening, what it means for the heart that is hurting, and what it means for the heart that is, against all odds, beginning to heal. Stay with me. The gate does not stay open forever. To understand what is being asked of you, you must first understand the nature of the place Venus has entered. Imagine your heart is not just an organ, but a vast and ancient wine cellar, dug deep into the earth beneath your own ribs. The air is cool and still, smelling of damp soil, old oak, and the ghost of spilled sweetness. Down the stone steps she walks, Venus herself, holding a single lantern. The light does not flood the space. It is a small, focused, intimate flame, just enough to illuminate one small section of the cellar at a time. This cellar is where you have stored every vintage of love you have ever known, every connection, every relationship, every hope, every heartbreak is a bottle, laid down on a rack, covered in the dust of years. Some of these bottles were laid down for you by your ancestors. The way your grandmother learned to love, quiet and sacrificial, is a bottle on a high shelf. The way your father learned to equate love with provision, but not presence, is another. These are the inherited vintages, the flavors you acquired before you ever had a choice. Then there are the bottles you brought into the cellar yourself. The first crush of adolescent love, sharp and sugary and gone too quickly. That is there. The first true heartbreak, the one that felt like a death, the one you swore you would never survive. That bottle is heavy in your hands even now, its contents dark and thick. Every love is here. The ones that nourished you, the ones that poisoned you, the ones you barely tasted, and the ones you drank until you were sick. For years, you have perhaps avoided this cellar. You live upstairs, in the bright, noisy rooms of your life, and you pretend the cellar isn't there. Or you only go down in the dark, stumbling, to grab the nearest bottle of familiar pain to prove a point to yourself. See, love always hurts. It always ends. It is always bitter. You have been drinking the same sour wine for years, believing it is the only kind you have. But Venus has not come to drink. She has come to take inventory. She has come with her lantern to read the labels. With infinite tenderness, she lifts a bottle, wipes the dust from its shoulder, and holds it to the light. The label is written in your own hand, though you may not recognize the script. It says, "The year I learned that my love was too much, too loud, too deep, and I had to make myself smaller to be kept." She does not judge the wine. She only wants to see what it has become. Has the bitterness of that lesson deepened over time, turning to a sharp, undrinkable vinegar? Or has some magic of alchemy, some secret grace working in the dark, transformed that bitterness into a complex, profound, and priceless vintage? Has the pain fermented into wisdom? This is the question being asked of you right now. This is the source of the heat in your chest. It is the light from Venus's lantern warming the glass. For some of you, this transit will be a moment of profound and startling healing. The light will fall upon a bottle you'd labeled failure. The relationship that ended, the love that was unrequited, the connection you thought you broke. You have carried it as a mark of your own inadequacy. But Venus holds it up to her lamp, and she shows you the truth. The contents are not sour, they are clear and golden. That was not a failure. That was a purification. The ending of that story was not a punishment. It was a mercy. It was the universe removing a lesser wine from your table to make room for a greater one. You will feel this as a sudden release, a lightness in your limbs. An old story you have told yourself about your own heart will simply dissolve, losing its power. You will see the past not as a series of mistakes, but as a curriculum. Each heartbreak was a lesson in tasting notes, teaching you to distinguish the cheap, sugary poison from the true, deep, nourishing vintage you are meant for. The hurt is not vanishing, it is being integrated. The pain becomes a part of your palate, your wisdom. You are the connoisseur of your own heart, and you have just realized the most painful vintages have made you a master. But for others, the light from the lantern will bring a more difficult truth. Venus will lift a bottle, and the contents will be murky, spoiled. The light will reveal a crack in the glass you have been ignoring, a slow leak that has been making the cellar floor damp and sticky for years. This is the relationship you are in that is costing you your soul. This is the pattern of choosing the same unavailable person in a different body over and over again. This is the lie you have been telling yourself, that this is all you deserve, that this lukewarm, conditional affection is better than the terror of being alone. The heat you feel is not the warmth of healing, it is the fever of an infection. Venus's light is not a gentle glow, it is a searing diagnostic beam revealing the decay. It says, "This vintage has turned. To drink it now is to poison yourself. To keep it on the shelf is to risk it spoiling everything around it. The pain of this transit for you is the pain of recognition, the agony of finally admitting that something you have cherished, or at least tolerated, is no longer viable. The hurt is the realization that you have been the keeper of your own poison. This is not a punishment. I must repeat this. This is not a cosmic judgment. It is a warning. It is the loving, urgent whisper of a guide who sees you reaching for the poisoned cup and says, with infinite compassion, "My love, not that one. Not anymore." This is the great divergence of this moment. Two paths, both originating from the same sacred wound. One path leads to the integration of pain into wisdom. The other leads to the necessary amputation of a pain that has become toxic. Neither is better nor worse. Both are acts of profound love. One is the love that integrates. The other is the love that protects. The question is not which path you are on. The question is, which path is calling you now? You know the answer. You feel it in your body. Is the warmth in your chest an expansion or a contraction? Is the weight in your hips an anchor or a burden? Be still for a moment and listen. Your body has already decided. Your soul has already chosen. The mind is the last to know. Let us walk deeper into the cellar. Let us look more closely at the shelves. In the ancient world, they knew that love and wounds were deeply intertwined. The Babylonians charted Venus's path not just as a harbinger of romance, but as a sign of what was worthy of being fought for, what was worth bleeding for. A warrior's love for his king, a people's love for their city, these were Venusian themes. Love was not a passive state of comfort, it was an active state of devotion. And devotion always requires sacrifice. It always brings you to a threshold of pain. Chiron, the great centaur, was the son of a god and a nymph. He was immortal, wise, a master of arts and sciences, the tutor of heroes like Achilles and Jason. His wisdom was unparalleled. But during a battle, he was accidentally struck by an arrow poisoned with the Hydra's blood, a poison so virulent it could kill a god. But Chiron could not die. He was sentenced to an eternity of agonizing, untreatable pain. Imagine this, the greatest healer in the world, unable to heal himself. He retreated to his cave, his body racked with a pain that would never end. This is the nature of the Chiron wound inside you. It is the place where you are wisest, most compassionate, most gifted in helping others, precisely because it is the source of your own incurable ache. The place where you can see the relational dynamics of others with crystalline clarity is the very place you feel hopelessly blind in your own life. The advice you give to a friend about their self-worth is the very advice you cannot seem to follow yourself. This is not hypocrisy. This is the signature of a sacred wound. It is the part of you that was wounded into wisdom. Your greatest gift to the world is born from your deepest personal pain. You have tried to fix this wound. You have tried to ignore it, to numb it, to transcend it. You have treated it like a flaw, a bug in your own code, a sign that you are not yet healed enough. This is the greatest reversal statement of this transit. That wound was never meant to heal. It was meant to be honored. It was meant to be your teacher, your guide, your connection to the raw, untamed, sacred truth of what it means to be human. It is the wound that keeps you humble. It is the wound that keeps your heart soft. It is the wound that allows you to truly see the pain in another and not offer platitudes, but true, resonant presence. And now, Venus, the goddess of wholeness, of beauty, of perfect harmony, is visiting this sacred, incurable imperfection. She is not coming with a magical cure. She is not coming to finally stitch it closed. She is coming to adorn it. She is coming to weave flowers around its edges. She is coming to declare it as the most beautiful, valuable, and sacred part of you. She is holding her mirror up to your deepest pain and saying, "Look, see how your survival has made you magnificent. See how this ache has carved you into a vessel of immense compassion. This is not your shame. This is the altar of your heart." For those of you on the healing path, this feels like a profound homecoming. The part of you that you have hidden, the part you felt made you unlovable, is suddenly illuminated as the source of your unique radiance. You will find yourself looking at your past relationships, even the most painful ones, with a strange and sudden sense of gratitude. You will see how the person who abandoned you taught you to never abandon yourself. You will see how the person who betrayed you taught you the non-negotiable value of your own integrity. The scars are not being erased. They are being traced in gold. The Japanese call this kintsugi, the art of repairing broken pottery with lacquer, dusted or mixed with powdered gold, silver, or platinum. The philosophy is that the breakage and repair are part of the history of an object, rather than something to disguise. By highlighting the cracks, you make the object more beautiful and more resilient than it was before. This is what Venus is doing for your heart. She is not giving you a new heart. She is revealing the beauty of the one that has been broken and has mended itself. But for those of you on the path of release, this adornment feels terrifying. Because to adorn the wound is to admit it is there. To trace the cracks in gold is to finally stop pretending the vessel isn't broken. Venus is holding her mirror up to your current situation, and she is showing you the fresh blood. She is showing you the ongoing injury. She is saying, the first wound was sacred, but this rewounding is not. The first arrow that struck you was fate, but to keep pressing it deeper into your own flesh, that is a choice. The pain you are feeling is the pain of a choice point. The agony of this Venus-Chiron conjunction is the agony of seeing, with unbearable clarity, how you have been complicit in the perpetuation of your own suffering. Not because you are weak, not because you are foolish, but because the wound felt familiar. The pain was a landmark you knew how to navigate. The cellar, though dark and damp, was at least a predictable space. The healthy, nourishing love that waits for you upstairs in the light feels far more terrifying, because it is unknown. To release the toxic vintage, to pour it out onto the earthen floor of the cellar, requires a period of emptiness. It requires walking away from the cracked bottle with nothing in your hands. It requires trusting that there is another wine for you, a wine you have not yet tasted. This is an act of supreme faith, a faith that feels almost impossible when you are standing in the dark. So let us speak of the body. Where does this live? For those whose hearts are cracking open in healing, feel the expansion across your collarbones, a desire to breathe more deeply, to stand up straighter. There may be a fluttering sensation, like wings beating softly inside your ribs. This is the feeling of an old cage dissolving. There may be spontaneous tears, but they are not tears of grief. They are tears of relief, the way the earth releases its scent after a long-awaited rain. You are not falling apart. You are falling into place. For those whose hearts are breaking in recognition of a necessary ending, feel the tension in your jaw, your throat, your solar plexus, a churning in the gut, a feeling of being constricted, of not being able to take a full breath. Your body is telling you, I cannot stomach this poison anymore. I cannot swallow this lie anymore. This is not a sign that you should stay and try harder. This is your primal, physical intelligence screaming for you to get out. The pain is a compass. The nausea is a direction. It is pointing toward the door. Listen to it. The body does not lie. It holds the score of every compromise, every betrayal, every moment you silenced your own truth to keep a fragile peace. Right now, it is presenting you with the bill, and it is saying, with love, we can no longer afford this. Let us bring this down from the heavens and into the room where you sit. The time for metaphor is ending. The time for practice is beginning. Over the next 3 days, as this Venus-Chiron conjunction perfects and then slowly separates, you are being invited into a sacred ritual of accounting. This is not passive. You are not meant to simply endure this transit. You are meant to co-create with it. You are the keeper of the cellar. Venus is your guide, but you are the one who must choose which bottles to open. Tonight, the first night, the night of witnessing. You will need a glass of water and a piece of paper and something to write with. Find a quiet space where you will not be disturbed. Sit down and place the glass of water in front of you. Close your eyes. I want you to call to mind the central relationship or pattern that has been illuminated for you by this transit. For some, it will be a past relationship whose pain is ready to be transmuted. For others, it will be a current relationship that is asking for a painful truth to be spoken. Do not flinch. Do not look away. See it clearly. Now, on the piece of paper, I want you to write down the story you have been telling yourself about it. The official story. The one you tell your friends. The one you repeat to yourself. It ended because we were too young. He was a good man, just emotionally unavailable. It's not so bad. We have good days. I am the difficult one. I push love away. Write down the polished, acceptable narrative, the surface truth. Fold the paper once. Now, pick up the glass of water. Hold it in both hands. Water holds memory. It is the great emotional conductor of the natural world. Stare into the water and speak aloud the deeper truth, the unnamed truth, the one that lives in your body. Speak it to the water. Whisper it if you must. It ended because I was terrified of being truly seen. He was not just unavailable. He was cruel, and I pretended not to notice. It is so bad that I feel myself disappearing, and I am terrified that soon there will be nothing left of me. I do not push love away. I push away that which is not love, but calls itself by its name. Speak the raw, unedited truth into the water. Feel the vibration of your own voice traveling from your hands into the glass. You are encoding the water with the frequency of what is real. The water is your witness. It does not judge. It only receives. When you are done, place the glass of water on top of the folded paper. Leave it overnight. Let the truth in the water seep, energetically, into the lie on the paper. Let the witness purify the story. This is the first step, the acknowledgement. Tomorrow, the second day, the day of choice. The energy of the conjunction will be at its peak. Return to your small altar. The paper will now be charged with the energy of the water. Unfold it. Read the original story you wrote. Then, turn the paper over. On the clean side, you are going to write a new declaration. If you are on the path of healing and integration, you will write about the gift the wound has given you. You will not bypass the pain, but you will honor what it taught you. From this ending, I learned the depth of my own resilience. I thank this experience for teaching me what I will never again settle for. The pain carved me open to a greater capacity for love. You are reframing the vintage.
You are writing a new label for the bottle, one that honors its complexity.
You are turning a history of pain into a lineage of wisdom. If you are on the path of release and amputation, your declaration will be different. It'll be a statement of what you are no longer willing to do. It will be a vow. I am no longer available for relationships that require my silence. I will no longer betray my own body's wisdom. I now release the belief that this pain is my portion. I choose the possibility of a love that nourishes, even if I cannot yet see it. This is not a letter to another person. This is a contract with yourself. You are declaring the old way finished. You are officially announcing the closing of a particular section of your cellar. Once you have written your new declaration, you will take the paper outside. You need to connect with the earth. If you are on the healing path, you will bury this paper in the ground. You are laying the old story to rest, allowing the wisdom to become part of your foundation, part of the soil from which new things will grow. You are returning the vintage to the earth, trusting its transformation is complete. If you are on the path of release, you will not bury the paper. You will burn it, safely in a fireproof bowl. As you watch the paper turn to ash, you are watching the old contract, the old story, the old tolerance for pain dissolve into elemental form. You are cauterizing the wound. You are performing a necessary act of severance. You are clearing the space. You are not destroying the past. You are releasing its hold on your future. After you have buried or burned the paper, take the glass of water. If you buried the paper, pour the water over the spot as a blessing, a final offering of gratitude for the lessons. If you burned the paper, you will take the water and pour it onto barren ground or down a drain. You are cleansing. You are flushing the poison from your system. You are declaring your vessel empty and ready for something new. Do not drink this water. It has served its purpose as a witness. Now, it must be returned. The third day, the day of silence. The energy begins to wane. Do not try to figure anything out. Do not rush to fill the new space. Your only task is to be with the aftermath. You may feel raw, empty, tender. This is sacred ground. This is the feeling of a profound internal surgery having been completed. Your job now is to rest, to allow the healing to begin. Be gentle with yourself. Drink clean water. Eat simple food. Walk in nature if you can. Listen to music that soothes your soul. You have just done something impossibly brave. You have stood with Venus before your oldest wound, and you have chosen truth over comfort. You have chosen dignity over familiarity. There is nothing more to do. The work is done. The choice has been made. The rest is integration, and it will unfold in its own time. You did not find this by accident. Something in you, that heat in your chest, that weight in your hips, recognized the frequency of this moment before I ever named it. A part of your soul knew that the celestial locksmith was at your door, and you had the courage to answer. You have been carrying a key for a door you couldn't find, or a door for a key you thought you'd lost. This transit brought them together. What happens next is up to you. But the lock has been turned. The mechanism has shifted. Nothing can go back to being exactly as it was before. You are not behind. You are not late. You have not failed. You are standing precisely where you need to be, at a threshold of profound transformation in the landscape of your own heart. The courage was not in avoiding the wound. The courage was in turning to face it and allowing it, finally, to be seen, to be honored, to be loved, not in spite of its brokenness, but because of it. If this has resonated with you, if you have felt the truth of this in your own body, I invite you to declare it, not for me, but for yourself, and for the others who will read your words and find courage in them. In the space below, write, I am honoring the wound. Let it be a testament to your bravery. Let it be a signal to the universe that you are ready. Someone beneath your words, someone who feels alone in their cellar, will see your declaration and feel a little less alone. Your courage will become their permission slip. Hours were spent in study, in meditation, in listening to the whispers of these ancient archetypes, so that the course for you could be clear, so that the path through this tender time could be illuminated. If this work has served you, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so that you do not miss the next chapter in our journey together. There is more to come. For now, be still, be tender. You have just walked through a sacred fire. Let the world be loud. You have earned this quiet. You have earned this peace. The wine cellar of your heart is now, finally, in order. The light of Venus may fade from this exact point in the sky, but the light she has ignited in you, that is yours to keep. That is the lantern you will now carry for yourself. Go gently. The medicine is working.